What's up, guys? It's Jace. I want to talk to you today about a theory that I have. It's pretty crazy and outlandish. I know most people won't believe it. I don't expect anybody to who's not open to it and doesn't know all the subject matter that pertains to make this reasonable. But I don't really give a fuck either. So, here it is. At the end of each precessional cycle, the planets of Jupiter, Saturn, Venus, and Mars align on the opposite side of the sun from the Earth. And when the moon is in between them during the solstice or at some point, the flares that are coming off from the sun and the comets that are coming from Jupiter because of this push the moon into the Earth. Yeah, I know, it sounds crazy. The evidence for this you can find actually in the North Pole. If you look at the Hudson Bay and the Canadian Basin, the Canadian Basin is 666 miles across. The Hudson Bay shows evidence of a rolling impact with 3 of those impressions. And so what you get is a trajectory where it goes from the Hudson Bay, destroying the ice shields, moves over to the Canadian Basin, and then rolls around the pole in a couple of other taps, and eventually leaves Earth over Greenland. Now, you're gonna say that's fucking crazy. I know that's crazy. The evidence for this is the dark spots on the moon. They are where the impacts took place. Now, I don't think this happens at the end of every precessional cycle. It's either every other, every second, third, fourth, or fifth. My personal opinion and intuition is that it's on the 4th and 5th. And that's due to harmonic theory. I don't think that the moon could be knocked back to the Earth in one precessional cycle. I think it would take a few. And I think that in the 4th it reaches an equilibrium over the Pacific Ocean near the South Pole. And this is basically what causes the majority of the ice age and the crust displacement to happen. And the equator moves about 30 degrees south in the Pacific and north in Africa. And so at the end of the 4th precessional cycle, the same thing happens with the solar flares and the comets hitting the moon, and it finally gets pushed up over the Yucatan and flips, or this is about magnetics, guys. This is about the moon flipping from comets hitting it and solar flares and the weakened Earth magnetic field. It's a combination of everything. Anyway, so then in the 5th precessional cycle, it goes up, causes the flood, wipes everything out. It sends the water into the Pacific Ocean, and you can see that with the fault lines there. It wipes out Lemuria and all of this low-lying islands in the Pacific first, and it sends all that water and sand towards the Atlantic. And so it comes up from the south, and water also comes down North America and into the Gulf of Mexico. And you can see that it cuts a channel as it gets funneled across the Atlantic towards where Atlantis was. And Atlantis is the eye of the Sahara, and it's at the same latitude as the impact that killed the dinosaurs. And so what you have is a repetitive cycle that's happened again and again and again. And I don't want to speculate how long it's been going on, because this basically rewrites our understanding of evolution and tectonic plate timelines. So it's going to take a while to sort it out, but I think that you can see a repeating pattern there in the fault lines, and the fact that when that initial impact happened with the moon, it basically cracked the whole globe, and you can create circles out from it. I've done all the work and I have sketches of everything. So that's a trip. That's a real trip. And that's what causes the Earth crust displacement, is the moon hitting the Earth and approaching the Earth. Because a comet's not big enough to do it. An asteroid's not big enough to do it. And it's not really big enough to end the Ice Age either, guys. I'm sorry, it's just not the way that we think it happens now, which is really, really fast in 11,500 years ago.
I start my city with a brick, then add another brick. Brick by brick, I manufacture homes for fallen angels. I ain't no great Samaritan, that's just the way the game goes. Respect the polars, but acknowledge middle value rainbows.
Come on! Root to the fruit, more bass than Bootsy Collins. You versus me, that's like Ali versus Foreman. God's act.
Here's to Albert Einstein and the vision he bestowed, to the few things I've learned and all the things I'll never know. Like why the universe is even here, for what reason is it employed, or how energy is neither created nor destroyed. They say when David Bowie died, something from his body rose. If his energy must go somewhere, well, we don't know where it goes. Is there something bigger, something too big to see, something bigger than you, something bigger than me, something bigger, something too big to see, something bigger than you, something much bigger than me.
This has a lot of implications, guys, you know. At the end of each cycle, we have to go to space. I mean, we're going to start this next 2,000 years. This is the age of Aquarius, and you may think that it's water pouring out, and yeah, the sea levels are going to rise for the next 1,000 years, but the water pouring out is also a spaceship blasting off. I mean, we're going to space, and the reason Musk doesn't want to populate the moon is because he knows this. He wants to go to Mars because it's actually safer. He knows that the moon, if you look at the back of the moon, it's all iron. It gets hit with comets all the time. The comets don't come in and hit Earth. The moon is our shield. And so it's a crazy theory, I know. I have a lot of pictures. I think it's a lot easier to understand with pictures and symbolism. I think that's part of the new dawning of the new awareness. But that's the theory for those of you who need it in words. And I hope that didn't blow your top. And follow me for more, because I got a lot more coming. For real. Much love.
When you